Good good evening, everyone. I am Cool Sam 69, and alongside me tonight is Juice. We have another exciting week of Overwatch Tranquility Tournament taking place, as we'll be seeing some Harmony tier action as Karma takes on the Pacified Pythons.
Yes, this is going to be a very interesting game tonight. We have Karma at 3-2 and Pacified Pythons at 0-5. Do you think that Pacified Pythons is going to get their first win this night?
Ooh, it'll be a steep call to make if they will be able to pull up that first victory. Uh, I'm not going to say it's completely out of the question, but I think they'll be certainly fighting that uphill battle to get that first victory.
Absolutely. And in general news, we have some very special announcements. To start, we have the Iris podcast going on tomorrow, September 9th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Be sure to be there for that. We also have the Okay. And on the away team will be the Pacified Pythons icon. However, I just heard it will not be there because of some technical issues. It'll be there shortly. Thank you for the patience. Then we have the Overwatch Tranquilities 3v3 Lockout Elimination Tournament, Thursday, September 12th, and all roster spots are filled. Lastly, we have the International Meetup Day, Saturday, October 19th in Minneapolis, Chicago, Kansas City, Washington, D.C., and LA. Now, moving on towards the game itself, there's a new meta taking place in the Overwatch League, and I'm curious as to see if it's going to be shaping up here in the Harmony tier. The double barrier, excuse me, of the Orisa and the Sigma, a very powerful composition, especially with the Reaper, Doomfist, Moira, and Lucio. It's cool, Sam. Do you think this is going to be a very powerful meta for the Harmony tier as well, or do you think they're going to be sticking to more traditional compositions of Dive and other similar compositions?
That's an excellent question. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see both teams pull it out here tonight. I don't think especially when you get to the lower tiers where everything may not be as punished as easily, you don't see it as often. You start relying more on comfort picks, things that work better for your team. However, I mean, with the a lot of the synergy that can come with that comp, I wouldn't be surprised to see both teams pull it out tonight. However, I don't know if it necessarily will be a crutch that teams will need to rely on to pull up that victory tonight.
Absolutely agree. However, if they do decide to use that Sigma, we're going to be seeing a lot of very powerful plays. Is the newest tank to come to the game and one of the strongest tanks in the current meta, with his Gravitic Flux being one of the highest damaging ultimates in the game. Definitely going to be shaking things up here in the meta.
Absolutely, and beyond just the damage itself, especially on those payload maps, like what we'll see with the hybrid and Ike tonight and later Havana, that Sigma ult is a really good at getting that force C9, pulling those teams off the payload, sticking up in the air long enough for that overtime clock to tick down. I wouldn't be surprised if either of those matches could end in something of that nature.
Absolutely. Definitely going to be exciting to look for that. But going on to onto our rosters themselves for both Karma and the Pythons, I'm looking out for Ski Free Yeti. He's back from vacation, and they did lose 4-0 to Vitamin C recent in their last game. But I believe that with Ski Free Yeti coming back into the lineup, I think they actually have a good chance to pop off.
Absolutely. I give props to Ski Free Yeti, kind of taking a step back from himself, and a lot of some of the responsibilities he's had in this community, taking some time to focus on his mental health, his mental well-being, and I think ultimately what that's going to translate to is his a better performance from him out here tonight against Pacified Pythons.
Absolutely. And speaking of the Pythons, they have a pretty much relatively whole new roster coming in here tonight. And with Tiquan returning to the Pacified Pythons after leaving in late August, I believe that we should be looking out for him, as he is a very phenomenal player.
Absolutely. I think what really matters for Pythons here tonight is just focusing on that synergy. As you said, they've got essentially an entirely new roster, going from just two players, picking up six more within the last couple of days. They're up to an eight-man roster now, but as I said, six of those being new players. It's going to be really challenging, at least synergy-wise, to get that down, especially in a match against Karma. I don't think this is a move for today. I wouldn't expect crazy intense synergy, but I think going in the long run, that this is a very important move for the pacified pythons.
I completely agree on that. I will have to say though, they like you said, with this uphill battle, not only going at the 0-5, having the kind of the underdog motif, having the new roster too isn't going to be working out in their favor for right now. They're definitely going to have to work as hard as they humanly can in order to get that win tonight.
Absolutely. And I mean, the one thing I will say with the pacified pythons is I don't think that their win-loss record is really indicative of their skill this week, or excuse me, this season. Albeit they've only had, I mean, they're 0-5, but they've only been 4-0 twice, and that was in the last 2 weeks against the Minty Hippos and, excuse me, uh, the Careless Pandas. Aside from that, they haven't been 4-0 in the other 3 matches they've played. And beyond that, especially with their match against the Minty Hippos, who are widely considered one of the top tier teams in the Harmony tier, they kept it as a relatively close match. That 4-0 wasn't nearly as convincing as you might think, with a couple maps being decided late in the game and or in overtime.
Definitely. And going onto the side of Karma again, they've only had two maps decided in overtime, it looks like. And with the return of Guava Duhor, who missed last week and was a consistent player in the Karma lineup, I believe they do have a really strong like lineup now, especially with Ski for Yeti being back. This team looks incredibly strong going into this.
Absolutely. And it looks like we'll be kicking it off here on Lijiang Tower. I apologize earlier. I had the next week's matches for this week, but this is still week 6, not week 7. So I apologize for that. We'll be starting it off in Lijiang Tower. Always a fun map. I'd say widely considered one of the most popular control maps in the game.
We're definitely gonna be seeing some of these Sigma compositions come out. Potentially see some May as well. May is really notorious on Control Center, especially in that white room over there, for having the ability to wall off their escape routes and being able to get an instant blizzard within the first fight or two.
Control Center being easily one of the tightest control maps out there. Not a lot of open space, and those May walls can be, as you said, very punishing, especially in white.
Ready for battle.
And it looks like so far what we're seeing here, looks like Karma's going for that Zarya Ryan May Reaper combination. While on the side of the Careless Pythons, it looks like they're running that Pacified Python, sorry. Looks like they are running that Orisa Sigma comp that we see a lot in the Overwatch with the Doom Reaper. I definitely think with Reaper Doom coming in here, they do have a better one-shot potential and higher damage output. However, it looks like survivability options are more onto the path of Karma. May and Reaper have their own lifesteal abilities, giving them really long-term survivability options with high damage output. So we're definitely going to be seeing a lot of conflict going into this point.
And for the Karma, they're really going to need to close that distance here. Wall gets set up early by Splinter. Snaky Pants getting in there, trying to start getting in some damage, but Frosty on the Reaper is keeping him back. Snaky Pants shield getting low, so he's going to start backing up, giving some space. A 13x jumping in for Doomfist, but he's going to get picked off by Splinter. Karma is going to start picking up kills there. That's now 2 in their favor. Stanky Pants goes for the charge in, but he doesn't find anything. Stanky Pants hammering away on TLR, and it looks like that Karma is going to pick up this first point.
One of the problems running Doom comp that isn't the mirror is they don't have the Zarya bubble for Doom. There's a lot of without it, the May is able to essentially just go in and get a lot of free damage output that really the Doomfist can't really protect himself. Going in there, Alex. Oh, my apologies.
It looks like Alex is going to switch over to the May here, giving that wall, hopefully giving the Pacified Pythons a better opportunity to engage onto Karma. So look here, Stanky Pants, he's already got a shatter up. He looks like he's closing that distance, looking to get that big shatter off. He sees an opportunity, he's going to connect with 4, and he's going to wipe out TLR first. However, and Alex is going to fall shortly thereafter. The Sigma all going to be committed by Jen, and that's going to pick up Stanky Pants. Ski for Yeti following shortly thereafter. It's a pretty even fight right now. However, Splinter is going to throw out the Blizzard. However, all of Pacified Python is going to escape from it, so this fight continues to take descend into chaos on point. Double Reaper all coming out here. However, it is going to go in favor of Pacified Pythons. Oh, excuse me, that is Karma.
Now, one thing that was very interesting though is I saw Jen trying to go for the kinetic grass heat onto Splinter's male, but it was unfortunately looking in the wrong direction, it seemed. So that kinetic grass, while being able to eat the male, you have to be, unfortunately, pretty much right in its direct path or else it won't. This isn't a defense matrix. It doesn't have a lot of range, kind of width or height to it. So it's going to be very hard for the Sigma to eat that. However, Gen did get a very fast gravitic flux, and I think he's going to be able to do that again if he keeps playing that semi-aggressive style that punishes that Mayo extension like he had before.
TLR going to throw out the bongo early, but he's already going to get melted down. Coalescence is coming out on both sides. Keyfree Yeti going to throw out the grab. It's going to connect with 2. However, the deaths are coming late, but they are eventually coming through, but in favor of the Pacified Pythons. It looks like they're finally going to be able to turn this point. However, they're up 99-0 now. Guava du jour going to pick up the kill on Alex, who's now on the Junkrat. It's just Guava on Lucio on the point, and he's finally going to be cleaned up.
I thought it was going to be over there when TLR got kind of blocked off by Splinter's wall, and but it looked like Pacified Pythons were able to make a very strong comeback there, and we were able to have a point. However, they are at 99%, so they're going to need to play very smart for the next like 100 seconds here.
Absolutely. For the next 80%, Pacified Pythons are going to have to play perfect Overwatch. Stanky coming in with a Shadow already. Looks like his shield's going to be melted early. He's looking for an opportunity. Frosty going to come in with the Death Blossom. However, he's not going to find anything, and is going to eventually be picked up by Keyfree Yeti. That's 2 kills in favor of Karma. Make that 3, and they're going to continue to push on the point. Jen going to throw the Gravitic Flux, but it's too little, too late, and it looks like Karma is going to be cleaning up this point.
Looks like the Pacified Pythons are still trying to hold on for dear life. Riptire did come out from Alex. Did he get any value though? I'm not too sure. Sequin picking up the pick on Stanky Fans.
However, just 2 people left, 3 people left on point, and they're slowly falling. This is becoming a little bit closer fight than I initially anticipated. However, the replenishments are coming in favor of Karma.
Pythons here still staying alive. If Sequin can get a sound barrier here, they may be able to test this fight and actually get the win off. No.
However, Cryogenics is going to throw the Coalescence out. He's going to finish off Tequin and then TLR, and it looks like this finally might be ending in favor of Karma. Just Gen left on the point. Cryogenics doing everything he can to clean up this point, and Karma is going to take this point. Stanky Pants with the 25-player kill streak, absolutely doing a lot of work. Or, Cryogenics, excuse me.
Cryogenics' Moira we see here, very fast Coalescence build-up every single fight, and a very aggressive playstyle on his Moira. I have to say his Moira has to be one of the is incredibly strong right now, and his use of that Coalescence there to not only save his team but to play a very aggressive DPS style was well favored for that fight.
Absolutely, Cryogenics doing an excellent job there. Karma overall playing that composition very similar to the Goats variation comp, where they're really trying to close that distance, take a lot of damage, and use the Moira healing with the orb and her natural healing just to sustain as long as they can and build up those Coalescence.
And now it looks like we're seeing a kind of a dive composition coming out from Karma. The Pharah Mercy, Winston Wrecking Ball combination, very interesting coming out against the Symmetra May.
Pacified Python is going to TP and get straight on the point and force the engagement from Karma there. TLR throwing out some hammer swings, but not finding too much. And it looks like Karma will also be engaging a point. Stanky Pants kind of in the middle there. Splinter going to find the call on that the kill on that weirdo. However, Stanky Pants going to fall to Jen. And it looks like those TP turrets are causing a lot of issues. And it looks like Karma is going to have to disengage from this fight and give the point over to Pacified Pythons.
Looking at Keyfree Yeti, it was very hard for him to get into those initial good jump pack kills. Alex's turrets are sitting on the inside of right on the inside of the point, making it hard for him to get any movement abilities on Keyfree Yeti on his part. That prevented him from closing the distance onto those tanks and being able to get a faster primal rage. That is imperative for this fight. He needs to get a primal rage here in order to close that distance and to get some environmental kills.
Stanky Pants going to throw out the mines, and Splinter going to throw out the barrage, and that's going to be 3 kills, make that 4 kills in favor of Karma. And it looks like they're going to start wrapping up this point, but Alex is going to take out both the Pharmacy as the May. Seeing going to get a kill as the Reaper, and Keyfree Yeti going to finish off Frosty. And it looks like Karma is going to finally flip this point, but not before Pacified Pythons get 37%.
Now, looking here, they do have the Photon Barrier coming out for Pacified Pythons. However, I don't believe they should be staying on the Symmetra here. It is a powerful ult with a 5,000 HP barrier that goes across the entire map. However, against the Pharah and the Reaper, a McCree would be a much better substitute in this option. Being able to... The flashbang is such a strong cooldown that they could be using to essentially eliminate 2 DPS here. And looks like they're going to be using it now.
The Death Blossom going to come out in favor of Scene, but he's going to get nothing but wall there. Shadow going to come out. Proxemae from TLR, but again, he's not going to find anything. And it looks like, despite these ults being thrown out from Pacified Pythons, they're going to get stuck in that choke and really not get any value out of the resources committed.
Now, Sequin did get unfortunately forced out of there with the sound bear. Primal Rage elimination from Steepford. Looks like the Blizzard's coming out now. I don't think using this many ults on a losing fight is actually beneficial, because they did do the Blizzard there without any benefit, as well as the Coalescence.
Absolutely. It looked like they might have gotten some value there, but excellent minds from Stanky Pants there to really prevent any value from Pacified Pythons.
It look, I'm pretty I'm kind of it's kind of unfortunate that they're staying on the Symmetra. Strong proposition. Running against the Pharah, it's no benefit. They have nothing to really take her out of the sky there, nothing to pin her down. No hero except for maybe Zarya and Moira in these situations can actually take her down.
Exactly, and with Splitter coming up with the barrage here, that could be very crucial here in finishing out this fight, as Karma's already up to 82%. Screech for Yeti gonna fall early, but Splinter is gonna throw out that barrage. He's gonna get Alex and Frosty. So this match is pretty even right now. However, Splinter and Stanky Band's gonna get 2 more out of the Pacified Pythons, and it looks like this map is finally gonna go in favor of Karma.
Splinter having command of the sky there, no real drawbacks for that power, and they do take the first map.
Victory.
Pacified Pythons showing they really just didn't seem to have an answer for Splinter on the Pharah, and that proved to be too much, as Karma will take this map, Lijiang Tower, and jump up in this match series 1-0.
I definitely think for these future maps, for Pacified Pythons to actually get a very strong advantage here, they're going to need to start playing against the Reaper and the Reaper and the Pharah combination. Such a strong amount of burst damage coming out from both of those players. It's going to be very hard for Pacified Pythons to get an advantage.
Absolutely. Overall, I gotta say, who impressed me most this match was definitely Splinter. His fair play, and partly because it was unmatched, but he just really seemed to get a lot of value. I believe he had 2, if not 3 barrages in that one round on Gardens, proving to be too much. The double barrier not really being shown too much from the Pacified Pythons on the second point either.
Now, I do have to say though, I did like TLR's aggressive style on his main tank. A lot of his aggressive playstyles were well benefited by his off tank playing that Sigma. Now on Garden, you could see that the Ryan Zarya, while it was indeed really strong, they weren't getting much value out of it overall, and it was very difficult for Pacified Pythons to get any advantages in the late game, just due to the fact that TLR, while he's playing this aggressiveness, they didn't have a shield a lot of the time to go against Splinter's Pharah. So he was able to get free value on Pharah, getting the high splash damage, high barrage value, and really just being uncontested again with no shield.
Absolutely. And what surprised me most is, especially on Control Center, we saw a lot of swaps. I believe it was from Alex of the Pacified Pythons, swapping from Junk, May, pulling out quite a few heroes on Control Center. However, when on Gardens, they only seem to run the 2 DPS comp of, I believe it was the Symmetra and the Reaper, really showing a lack of versatility right there. And it really proved to be just too much for them to handle.
Absolutely. I'm hoping into these late matches, into these other maps. I hope the Pacified Pythons can actually play against that Pharah. Well, otherwise, Splinter's just going to have continuous reign of the skies for the entire series and be uncontested for a very clean potential 4-0 victory.
I think the upside that Pacified Pythons have in regards to that Pharah is we'll be heading over to Volskaya Industries next.
Now
Alright.
arriving at
And
Lijiang
or Lishang again. Now, and with at least on Volskaya, outside of that the first point is really hard for the Pharah to get a lot of value. There's just not enough natural cover for them to really get a lot of value. However, with second point, that's sort of a different story. I don't expect Karma to be pulling out that pharmacy again on Volskaya. So I think in that sense, that definitely benefits the Pacified Pythons.
Absolutely, but however, on that first point, point A is a very open area, open enough for the Pharah Mercy composition to come out again and just do work. I do have to say that. My apologies. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. The counterpoint to that is because of all of that open space, it also leaves the pharmacy very susceptible to someone like a McCree, a Widowmaker, or an Ashe.
Absolutely. I was going to point that out as well. And unless they actually pick those types of those DPS heroes,
Initiating match.
I don't think Splinter will be countered that much. And even if he is, Splinter's fair mechanics and positioning is incredibly well skilled. So there's definitely a very solid chance that he, even with double hit scan, he could be uncontested for a very long period of time. Especially with his other DPS being able to just kind of take kind of that job of just putting out a lot of damage on their own without much help without needing to lean or rely on Splinter.
That is true. And for Volskaya, we do have a couple of substitutions coming in way for both teams. We've got Yang Chen coming in for Ski Free Yeti, and we'll have Land Vater, or just Land for short, coming in,
Ready for battle.
as well as Guava. And for the Pacified Pythons, we'll see Bloody T Pink. I'm just going to call him Blood for short, coming in. So as we start getting a look at these compositions coming out here, we see Land on the Widowmaker. That's going to be an interesting choice here. There's a lot of open space for Widow to do a lot of damage, and Land is quite known in the Harmony tier for his excellent Widow play.
And looking at the side of the Pacified Pythons, they have real dive options to go onto that Widow. So there's a very good possibility Land will be uncontested for a very long period of time in this match.
I think what it really comes down to is the Blood on the Symmetra trying to use that TP to close the distance between the Pacified Pythons and that Widowmaker. So it looks like the Pacified Python is going to be doing a bit of a cheeky Symmetra stat and teleporting around the outside of Volskaya and engaging from the high ground. Land scouting this out early, and he's going to be grappling to the other side of the map to get 3 shots down onto the Pacified Pythons.
So
Pacified holding that high ground. TLR shield getting melted early, and it looks like 2 kills are going to quickly make that 3 kills going to quickly fall in way.
3!
Of the Pacified Pythons. Land with 3K headshot, showing off that excellent Widow play, and
They
just
have
like that,
families, Land.
and just like that is a team kill in favor of Karma.
Those Orisa pulls were incredibly crucial there to help Land get a lot of those shots off. Tequan playing a little bit out of position, getting picked off early, and then the rest of the team going down afterwards. Some switches here coming out for the Pacified Pythons as well. Going up to Sigma Hanzo now, as well as the Widowmaker, having a little bit more of an aggressive double sniper style to prevent the Karma from getting a lot of value with that Widowmaker.
They're definitely looking for an answer to Land on the Widowmaker. So it looks like the May wall going to come out early, but it's not going to find anything for Karma. TLR on the holding shield there, running out quickly.
Alex and Land having a little bit of a...
And
So
Land, the Widow 1v1 going in favor of Land again, just shutting down members of Pacified Pythons. A huge wall there by Splinter to prevent Pacified Pythons from going up into that room. Ball going to come out, and Pacified Pythons sustaining but not really getting any value out of this. Eventually going to find haven, safe haven in that orange building. So we're going to wrap around the outside here. TLR going to throw out that Fortify early, which is pretty crucial as an Orisa player.
Land.
Again, Karma just holding that high ground position.
And Land, you can see, is scrambling away, trying to get that Mega Pack, because he did get low there. However, he is still relatively uncontested. It looks like Pythons aren't exactly trying to look for the kill onto him until now.
Looks like we're committing that coalescence, yeah, to try and keep Land out of the engagement. Shield's gonna fall, and Land can get the easy headshot onto TLR. And again, Pacified Pythons coming short of anything, of any picks, and really not seeming to find their footing here on Volskaya.
Looks like Alex is trying to go for the sneaky little backline kill onto Land. However, I don't think this is the right option here. He's gonna if they do spot him out, he will get staggered by the May potentially. So I don't think this is very smart. They do know where he is. They do have sights on him somehow. I believe they probably just saw him they saw his like silhouette or something like that similar, and now he is kind of just, they do know where he is. This isn't a very good spot for him to be in. He does know, he did see Land there grapple up, but the position,
it looks like he's closing that distance on Land, and Land doesn't seem to know where he is. Shot comes up from Alex, but he's not gonna find anything. While the rest of Pacified Pythons are heading into that mini room. Another shot. It looks like the Widow duel coming off again. Both Widows low. Land gonna disengage her. He's looking for some heals where Alex is getting those resources committed. Tequan on the Lucio gonna come in and engage on Land, doing everything he can to scramble away. While the rest of Karma sits on that high ground. Stinky Pants gonna commit both Orisas gonna commit their superchargers to this fight. However, Pacified Pythons is yet to get a point. Alex finally finding the pick on the land, and Pacified Pythons finding their way on the point. So the beat going to come out in favor of Pacified Pythons, and Tran's going to be committed from Karma. However, nothing seems to be falling yet. Splinter going to throw out the Blizzard. It's going to catch two, excuse me. Both Tanks and Jen getting melted by the Orisa, and Blood falling to the Zenyatta. And it looks like, again, Pacified Pythons are just not going to be able to win this point.
I'm not. This is still a very winnable fight for them. They just have to play well. But Land taking out Alex again in this. Land has been just dominating these Widow 1v1s in this series.
Land just taking free pot shots into the back of TLR. He doesn't seem to be aware. Stinky Pants sitting on the point. Land, again, showing off his Widow prowess. Headshot after headshot, doing everything he can to prevent the Pacified Pythons from doing anything here on first point Volskaya. And a huge wall from Splinter there to prevent Jen from engaging onto the point.
Absolute dominance coming in from Land. Absolutely hard carried this map on point A. A dominant Widow performance coming from him.
Absolutely. Wayne really just saying, hey, you know what, Karma, you guys just hold up on that high ground. I'll take care of the rest. And Pacified Pythons just didn't know how to shut that Land down.
Only one Widow duel was won by Alex there against Land. Land is just showing off right now that he is the dominant Widow, and they're going to actually beat him in these duels. They're going to have to switch up the rules they're playing. They cannot keep Alex on Widow there if they're even having a hope of defending this point A.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I would have liked to have seen from Jen is using that Sigma barrier to find Land, stow that barrier in his face, and say, no, you are not allowed to get free shots on our team. But that just didn't seem to happen. He put all of the onus of the Widow, of Land on the Widow, into Alex's hands, saying, hey, Alex, you know, if we want to win this point, you've got to win that Widow 1v1. And that just wasn't happening. Land was just getting way too much value.
And coming in here to this point A attack, it kind of looks like they're trying to go for the Karma rather is going to be going for the Bastion Symmetric teleport behind with the double shield. This could work. However, it looks like on the side of Pacified Pythons are running a similar composition. However, the only substitution is going to be the Mercy instead of the Lucio here. I believe this will work if the Pacified Pythons can get a very strong setup here, but with the teleports going out from Splinter, I don't think they'll be able to stay on this high ground position for too long without having to rotate.
And it is interesting to see both teams pulling up the Bastion here. Land taking a lot of damage early on this entry poke. Looks like Karma's going to set up on this high ground, but Land going to be forced out because he got there too early before that shield could be put up. The, Baptiste Lamp going to be deleted early, and it looks like Stinky Pants going to find his way onto point. Land's still on the high ground, but he's taking way too much damage. He's going to have to drop back down. Karma not really finding their footing here on the first point of Volskaya so far, but no picks have come for either side yet.
And kind of looking here, Jen and Blood were the two that went down to contest that point, which the smartest option. Sigma and May have the highest survivability on this team on their lonesome. So being able to contest that Bastion on point is incredibly powerful right now.
And it looks like Pacified Pythons is going to give up that high ground, and Alex taking a lot of poke damage from that Symmetra. Looks like he's going to have to fall to point, and with Karma sitting on the high ground, they've got a lot of advantage in choosing when and when they don't get to engage. Cryogenic's going to throw out that Baptiste Lamp, and Land just going to rain damage from Bastion above. However, Yangshin going to fall at the hands of Alex, and Blood falling at the hands of Tanky Pants. Alex going to pick up another kill on the opposing Bastion, and it looks like Pacified Python's going to be able to hold this point. Oh my gosh, Land just... Or excuse me, Alex just saying, absolutely not. You get away. You go back and spawn.
And may have won the Widow duels, but it looks like Alex is the superior Bastion in this fight.
Very well said, Juice. Very well said. And it looks like Pacified Pythons is just going to reset back up on the high ground where they started at the first engagement. Land going to hop over to the Hanzo, and Yangshin and Stinky Pants going to hop over to the Winston and Diva respectively. And it looks like a full composition swap actually coming out in favor of Karma doing a more divey with a pharmacy composition.
Yeah, this Pharah Mercy composition of dive is actually incredibly strong. There's a lot of burst damage coming out from both Pharah Mercy and obviously Hanzo, and it allows them to get that kind of a jump advantage onto the high ground there without much worry of the Bastion putting out lots of damage.
Yangshin gonna drop on point, and Jen kind of trying to answer, but Yangshin gonna find the kill onto Jen. Valkyrie gonna be popped by that weirdo, and he's gonna get Jen back up. Baptiste or Lamp, going to be committed by Pacified Pythons. And it looks like Splinter gonna find the kill on Alex, and because that Weirdo used the res early, they're not gonna be able to get that Bastion back in the fight. So it's gonna be totally reliant on the 2 tanks.
But it looks like Jen is putting in that work.
And Splinter charging his barrage extremely early, but not before the Pacified Pythons can shut him down. And it looks like, again, Pacified Python is doing just enough to keep themselves in this fight. Blizzard is going to be coming out by blood, and it looks like by the skin of their teeth, Pacified Python is going to be able to hold this point for another fight.
I have to say, Jen on the Sigma is incredibly powerful. Getting that Gravitic's Flux now for this late game fight, this is the make or break situation. If you're looking at ult economy right now, Stanky's only 88 to Diva buff to self-destruct, while Young Chen is only 65 to primal range. They only have 2 ults to work with here in the Dragon Strike and the Nano Boost, while on the side of Pacified Pythons, they have 4 ults to work with.
And we're pretty much approaching 1 fight territory here with only 38 seconds left and the fight yet to happen. This is pretty much Karma's last chance at winning this. The Dragon's gonna come out from land, and it is gonna find that Weirdo. Jen gonna throw out the Sigma ult, the Gravitic Flux. The Nano coming out onto Cryogenics to make sure that he doesn't fall on point. Jen gonna find the kill on Landrider. Bomb gonna come out from Stanky Pants, and it's going to find Alex on the Bastion. This is a bit of a hectic fight here, but it looks like Karma's finally doing what they can.
Karma!
Oh my, and despite the ultimate constantly heavily favoring Pacified Pythons, it looks like Karma is going to finish up this point and take the 2-0 lead against Pacified Pythons here.
Definitely the use of that Dragon Strike to take out that Weirdo in the first fight gave him that initial win condition. I have to say completely that Dragon Strike from land gave him the overall win in that fight. And it looks like we're going to see a play of the game actually coming out from land. This Widow was phenomenal and absolutely the reason why they were able to safely full hold on this point ahead.
Absolutely, it's just insanely difficult to engage in these fights when at any given moment land can just go dink and boom, you're down 5v6 just like that, or 4v6 or 3v6 in this case, as land just absolutely unchecked on that Widowmaker on that Karma's defense.
Going into the halftime here, it is 2-0 in Karma's favor. However, Pacified Pythons have 2 maps to clean it up and go back into the game for a map 5 potential. Do you think they have what it takes to get to map 5 this series?
Entering Lijiang Tower, after exiting Lijiang Tower, I wasn't particularly wowed with the Pacified Pythons. I thought they showed some promise here and there, but I think their composition swaps are really hurting them. However, after Volskaya, this was really what came down to just one fight in the waning seconds of Karma's attack from being a draw. Honestly, I was really impressed with the Pacified Pythons there on Volskaya. I think they have a chance. It's still a bit of a long shot, but I think they showed a lot of promise there in Volskaya. Karma just really not seeming to finding their footing and being able to get that value they needed to get an easy as a defense as they had.
And it looks like we're going to be going into the halftime here once again, as I said. And we're going to be looking for Pacified Pythons to get a very, very good comeback potential. That their defense hold on this guy was almost a guaranteed full hold to get the draw. However, Karma pulling it out with the power of land and Splinter on that DPS duo carry.
Absolutely. Again, just going back to that Volskaya, the lamp was committed by Pythons as an answer to that dragon, and unfortunately that Weirdo just caught out. So again, we'll come back after halftime. We'll be heading over to King's Row. Until then, I'm CoolSam69, and alongside me is Juice. We'll see you after halftime.
Welcome to the Sunday Night Feature Match Halftime Show, presented by the Iris Podcast. Each week, one of your podcast analysts will sit down with a member of the community and break down Wednesday's games. I'm NPC, covering the Harmony tier, and with us this week is Hybrid from the new and improved Otaku, covering the Discord tier. I'm going to start us off talking about the Minty Hippos getting a 3-1 over the Careless Pandas. Minty Hippos proving again that they're a sleeper powerhouse, getting the 3-1 victory over the preseason champions, the Careless Pandas. Pandas started out the season pretty strong, but they're becoming an endangered species.
So for the first match for the Discord, Infius versus the Aimbots. Infius is 3-1 win. Lijiang Tower win for 0-2 for Infius, which is kind of kind of like a Li Shang thing to do. But the other 3 maps went into extra rounds, making this a very close game. Close games are always nice. Infamous Gaming was kind of been overlooked until last week's feature match, and now they're making a name for themselves. Aimbot's looking to bounce back next week against Insulock.
Excellent. Yeah, Spare Change getting a very surprise 4-0 over the Jetpack Cats. Spare Change made a statement this week with their strong plays coming out of new players like J-Star and One Trick. They're finally starting to click as a team. Spare Change getting this 4-0 victory over a team that only lost 1 of their previous 5 matches proves that it's still anybody's season, and good teamwork is going to come out on top of individual skill.
For our second match for this card tier is Insulock versus Tough Luck, which is a 4-0 for Insulock, which is kind of surprising because Tough Luck is a higher team and expected to do very well. Very talented players, Smugs, Kingdom, Zuby, all talented in their own roles. Tough Luck struggled and seemed like a different team. This was their second time playing from Sunday to Wednesday, just playing all week, and it kind of like hurt them, I guess. It kind of burnt them out. Insulock played very well. They're running a lot of off metas like Ryan Sigma. They played a bunch of Ryan Sigma, and then their DPS. They're popped off. They have an insane Doomfist, and they said that the Doomfist might have been the reason why they won, and their support line. They're on the player.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's really surprising. We got a lot of upsets this week. Another match that could have gone either way was Undead Batteries represent here. Undead Batteries got a 3-1 victory in this high energy match against a team that's still trying to find their roster. I think they've got it locked down now. Boop. So Undead Batteries got a 3-1 over Boop. Undead got a couple of forfeit wins early in the season, and then they took a couple of losses. Nobody really knew what to make of them, but it looks like they're finding their footing in this tournament. Boop just added a main tank and a DPS to their lineup, and they need a chance to play together and practice together before next week's match against a team that got their first legitimate win, Spare Change.
Red Novario versus Sugar Rush. Red Novario comes out with a 4-0 win. I Will Deliver kind of gets out of position with his Lucio. Tries to go for those Reddit plays. Didn't end up working out this time. But they did get a couple crazy wins with the Reddit Lucio. Kara plays Diva. Diva, if you can play Diva really well, you're kind of talented player. But right now with the meta with Double Shield, Diva isn't going to do anything. In the meta, Double Shield is the way to go. Play against Sugar Rush for their Diva player.
Yeah.
Lays with their flanks with Reaper and McCree. It's well picked, but not the pick for that. And that kind of was the reason for their loss.
Yeah, definitely. Renovadio getting a 4 over Sugar Rush. That was pretty tough for Sugar Rush. Comets got a 3-1 over the Fighting Potatoes. Comets are making a big impact this week with more than half of their rosters entirely new players, and they had less than a week to prepare. I don't want to drop any names, but their new main tank, he was popping off. Just saying. In all seriousness, the Potatoes were down their signature DPS Gamstry. I think the game would have gone very different if the Potatoes had been at full force.
One last ride over Otaku, 3-1. Otaku did lose. We went into the match super confident. We're a new team, played together for maybe 2 weeks, and we went in there super confident. We took Li Zhang, Garrido, insane Hanzo. He killed Ana on transition, and then killed the Pharah, and then we had the advantage every single fight. So that's our reason for Li Zhang. One last ride, again, another very talented team learned how to play against us, saw our weaknesses, and punished us for it. And One Last Ride took the win over Otaku. 3-1 win.
Yeah, it's really tough. Being on a new team, just coming together. But the more we play together, I think you'll work things out.
Yeah, we just need to scream more, synergize more.
Yeah, definitely. Illusion got a 4-0 over DDoS. Illusion proves they're more than a mirage. With another 4-0 victory this week against DDoS. DDoS is still trying to find their footing. They need to start making some headway soon if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive.
Yeah. Commit versus Bridges, 3-1 win. Commit played with her new support, Rady Body, who hasn't played with her current roster. I was told that was their first match with their new support. That was the first match. Lijiang Tower was a team getting to know each other. Unusual team compositions that Bridges played, like they kept coming on their toes. But after they regained their footing, Camille was able to push back on the. I don't know what that says.
Subsequent maps.
Yeah, okay, there you go. I don't have my glasses. Ready Body definitely adding some big value to the team and was already top tier.
All right. Vitamin C got a 3-1 over the Holy Jalapenos. I mean, a lot of people kind of saw this coming. Surfy, Normac, Capital, they all delivered. They just that was a huge 3-1. They seem to have an answer for everything the Jalapenos could come up with. The game was a lot closer than that score lets on. I mean, Lijiang went to all 3 rounds. Volskaya and Route 66 went into extra rounds. I mean, Holy Jalapenos, they're just looking to bounce back next week against the Pacified Pythons, and Vitamin C is going to test their might against the Fighting Potatoes.
Meteors versus Harmony and Chaos, 3-1 win for Meteors. Meteors had a hard time focusing on the first 2 maps and they ended up dropping the map on Volskaya and their first round in King of the Hill. But once they started focusing at the end of the full hold, they full held the last 2 maps. Pyro played really well. Alcud and the tanks played really well together. Pyro on that roster, I think it would help them a lot. Pyro is a talented player. He wasn't a player for Otaku. And popped off and made a name for himself for that featured match.
Oh yeah, for sure. We all remember that featured match.
Yeah,
that's pretty insane.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to do it for this week's Sunday Night Halftime Show presented by the Iris Podcast. Tune in right back here at the Tranquility Community Twitch channel tomorrow night at 8:30 Eastern for the Iris Podcast, where we'll do a full breakdown of the results of Tuesday's feature match, tonight's match, and predictions of next week's matches. And now we're going to get back to the second half of the Sunday night feature match.
Welcome back, everybody. We are now entering the second half of Karma versus the Pacified Pythons here. We got some Harmony tier action. Karma taking that early 2-0 lead over the Pacified Pythons. Pacified Pythons really going to need to get these next 2 maps to force that map 5 and keep their chances of getting that victory alive today.
Absolutely. But it looks like the Karma's DPS of Splinter, Scene, and Land are just so dominant over the Pacified Python's DPS line. It's a very uphill point for the Pythons.
Absolutely. As you said, the DPS line between Splinter, Scene, and Land really taking a lot of the pressure off of the tank line tonight. Splinter providing so much value on that Pharah, Land on the Widow, Scene with the Reaper play, really just making it a really easy time for the rest of Karma here. Pacified Pythons showing some signs of life, having a really strong defense on Volskaya with the Bastion strategy, getting it down to just that last fight before they inevitably fell. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do here, see if they've got any strategies, some realizations, anything they can do as we enter this second half of this match.
Definitely looking to see some other more interesting compositions coming out for these. They haven't seemed to be sticking to that Sigma compositions as often as I thought they were going to initially. Pacified Pythons really only brought out the Sigma on Volskaya on that defense, trying to prevent the tie of the map, trying to prevent the loss on that point A. However, it looks like they were kind of more reliant on it on Lijiang Tower instead. Going into map 3 here, I'm definitely expecting to see a little bit more of that Ariza Sigma, especially because it is going to be the King's Row, a map that really heavily balances the it's heavy balance for the Sigma compositions.
Mm-hmm. And with Karma likely defending first on King's Row, it'll be interesting to see what kind of strategies the Pacified Pythons pull out. King's Row notorious for, you've seen a lot of fair play there. You can see a lot of different strategies really kind of like the birthplace and home of ghosts. So maybe you see something like a Ryan Zarya, May Reaper from the Pacified Pythons. It's really kind of up for grabs. The only thing I wouldn't expect is anything sort of divey. And from what we've seen from the Pacified Pythons so far, dive isn't really a composition or a strategy that interests them. So I think in that sense, it really puts a better light for the Pacified Pythons entering King's Row.
Absolutely. And going in, looks like Cena's coming back in for land, so I'm unfortunately not going to be. Oh, unfortunately, looks like I broke up there. Unfortunately, we're not going to be seeing Landon again as Cena's subbing in for him.
And for the Pacified Pythons, it looks like Alex is going to be subbed out in favor of Jungle Veins, and that's with a Z. I'll make sure I emphasize that. Ski for Yeti back in the lineup, paired alongside Stanky Pants, Splinter Scene as a DPS line for Karma, and Guava and Cryogenics rounding out the Karma lineup. Pacified Pythons, you've got Blood and Jungle, Jen and T-Quinn, That Weirdo, and TLR.
Yep, it looks like we're getting ready to go into this, and I'm kind of excited to see what Jungle is going to do. I believe this is his first map in here today, and I'm really excited to see what he's going to be doing for this team. Hopefully they're able to actually change it up. Looks like he is playing he is a Pacified Pythons player. I believe he is a DPS. He is. So looks like I'm expecting to see some Reaper coming out of him here. Definitely going to be an interesting time if they're going to be running the Reaper Doomfist, and I'm very excited to see what happens.
What interests me most with the Pacified Pythons is on their roster sheet, they've got 4 different DPS listed, which when you consider that everyone has to play at least 2 maps, you see definitely a lot of rotating DPS between each map.
Absolutely. And going into this, like I said, you're going to be seeing a lot of these very cheesy comms coming out. Symmetra Bastions, Reaper Doomfist. A lot of these comms can be run on King's Row just because of how cluttered these streets are. There's really no places to escape that often, as every hallway will lead to an area where the enemy can see you. So you have to play you can play cheesy on both sides, and it's essentially a game of chicken to see first.
Absolutely. I think the only issue, or the only portion of the map where it really starts to open up a little bit is third point, but first and second point definitely favor the cheese in every sense of the word. A lot of narrow hallways, a lot of narrow gaps. And as we get a first look at the compositions, it looks like Pacified Pythons pulling out the OG dive with the Ana in favor of the Zen.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
And coming in onto the defense, we're going to be seeing the traditional double shield. They're having an Ana. Guava refusing to play that Lucio for that AoE healing, rather sticking to a more consistent sync target healing with a very powerful melody ability for more offensive capability. Let's see if it works out for them here in about 7 seconds as we start this map.
And for the Pacified Pythons, it's really going to be about target priority and coordination. Excuse me, I'm really struggling there. Coordination, as Karma has a lot of healing, a lot of damage, so it's really going to matter that they get those picks very quickly, and all focusing on the same target. So
going in here, it looks like we're having a little bit of a little flank going on here for Pacified Pythons as they kind of just go right past Scene.
Oh,
but
Scene.
Weirdo being kind of singled out here. T-Quinn trying to go in for the save. I don't think it's going to work. Nope. And it looks like that split kind of just broke down Pacified Python's initial jump.
Absolutely. Losing the Ana first. Luckily for the Pacified Pythons, are going to find an exit pick on to Guava on the Ana. But as you said, one of the most important things in Overwatch is checking your corners, and Pacified Pythons did not do that, as seen just left unchecked, get free shots into their backline and onto that weirdo.
But now look at this coming out here from Pythons. They switch to the Ryan Zari here and get a Reaper over the Genji. Ana's coming back here on the side of the on the side of Karma rather, but they're only at 40% for that nano piece. That nano is going to be crucial in contesting this point on
So the wall going to be thrown out early from the Pacified Pythons. TLR looking to close that distance, trying to get some hammer swings. The Doomfist charging up that punch. He's not going to find anything. Blood on the point, getting shots on Reaper. He's going to fade, and Ski Free Ready going to hit him with the rock. So with that, Two now are going to fall for the Pacified Pythons, and it looks like they're going to be trying to find their way out with taking as little damage as possible. Jen going to find the kill on Cryogenics, but that's going to be it. And Karma going to finish off the rest of Pacified Pythons.
It looks like that they're trying to go for these kind of aggressive playstyles, trying to close in Bloody to try and having Bloody go into the backline and try to force them towards the front line of the Pacified Pythons. However, it just doesn't seem to work out. Scene keeps getting uncontested. No one is jumping on him. No one is focusing him down when he goes to that backline himself. And he's getting these just consistent value picks every fight. He's on 73 to a Death Blossom, 91 in terms of the Doomfist ultimate. And it's really going to be hard for Pacified Pythons here to keep this up this long. But Bloody getting the pick on to Guava.
Coalescence is going to be committed by that weirdo. However, Skifer Yeti going to throw out the Gravitic Flux. It's going to do a lot of damage, but no kills are going to happen. However, Splinter with the Doomfist, he's going to find two. And Skifer Yeti going to throw that rock, knock down T-Quinn, and it looks like he knocked him out of the beat. It looks like again the fight is going to go in favor of Karma.
Now, unfortunately, there T-Quinn and that weirdo late. Now they're down in ult economy completely, having no ultimates with the save for the Earth Shatter compared to a Death Blossom, Coalescence, and Nano Boost. This next fight is going to have to be a dry push unless they get the luckiest shatter of the TLR's career right here, right now. And even then, that's slim pickings for them.
Looks like T-Quinn gonna swap over to Mercy with only 60 seconds left, and Blood gonna swap over to Fair. They're gonna go to Pharmacy. Only 60 seconds left. This is pretty much it. Excellent restraint from the side of Karma to keep that ult economy alive with those three ults, excuse me. Cryogenics gonna throw out that Coalescence early, and he's going to find T-Quinn, showing that a support ult can do damage. Cryogenics again gonna take out the Pharmacy himself. Jungle Veins gonna throw out that Blizzard late, but it might be just too little too late. Skifer Yeti taking a lot of damage, but excellent job from Guava on the high ground to just keep both of those tanks alive. Grab's gonna be thrown out by Jen, and it's not gonna be able to find too much. Looks like again Karma gonna hold off.
Now they are waiting for Stanky to come back, and it looks like they're just kind of throwing ult and trying to save for that ultimate here.
TLR throws out that shatter, but he finds a whole lot of ground and nothing much else. Looks like Blood's the last one left he's going to have to touch, but he's not going to be able to, and it looks like Pacified Pythons are just not going to be able to make it 2 point. They've just all got eliminated before they could even touch the point.
Now, what confused me there was they had the May and the Blizzard and Graviton Surge respectively out after the fight was already over. That was a powerful old combination that they could have used as long as the team just regrouped. But they decided to throw them in anyways for zero reason. I'm kind of confused on that thought process there, what they thought they could accomplish with just with a half-health, high-charge Zarya and a May against a team of 6. Only getting one pick onto Splinter there, getting zero value otherwise.
And when you think about this, I mean, to be fair, the alt synergy and management was a little bit scuffed. I think is the best way to put it from the Pacified Pythons. But I mean, when you consider the fact that a lot of this team was put together within the last couple of days, things like that can happen. These kind of mistakes can happen when you don't have that built-up synergy amongst players. But really, in this instance, it proved to be a little too much, as they just whiffed a lot of ultimates that otherwise could have been huge in providing value.
It is kind of a kind of a David versus Goliath story, but rather than taking up like Goliath is just kind of
imagine the worst possible
David.
Now, I want
Oh. And it's kind of a David versus Goliath story, but rather than David, slaying Goliath and being the underdog hero, Goliath is kind of just curb stomped on David, and it's kind of an unfortunate circumstance there.
And one important thing to note now is because Pacified Pythons were unable to get a tick of progress on this, the best that they can do is pull a draw here, and because of that, at a minimum, Karma will be taking over the victory today.
Absolutely.
So the Pacified Pythons setting up with that Bastion bunker strategy on the high ground. What's most important is making sure that Jen on the Diva gets on that point to prevent any ticks from happening.
But it looks like TLR gets booped off.
The excellent pull from Stanky Pants on the reset to pull him off the high ground. And it looks like Scene is in the midst of it on the Reaper, and he's going to find TLR, but TLR is going to get res, and Bloody Pink going to answer. Jungle Veins getting the kill on the Skifer Yeti as the Bastion, and it looks like Pacified Pythons might just have enough picks here to continue to hold on this first point.
And I have to say, when I saw Scene get that pick onto TLR, I thought it was over. I thought that was the final moment. However, it looks like Pacified Pythons decided to say, one kill, that's all you're going to do, and decided to get the resurrection off and start farming. Now look at the ult economy. Unfortunately, Jen is not back in mech yet and has to remech. Barely getting it in.
That Moira almost proved to be too much for Jen on the Baby Diva. Looks like both DPS from Karma are going to set up on point, start trying to acquire that progress on the point. Jungle going to set up on point. He's going to do a lot of damage into Splinter, but not before Splinter can take out Blood. Scene takes out Jen on the Baby Diva.
Amplification is coming out here for the side of Pacified Python. I don't know if this is going to be enough to win them this fight. They have a lot of damage coming out here, but Coalescences from Cryogenics are just absolutely stomping you.
And that Coalescence showing that it can do damage as it does take out Jungle Veins on the Bastion, and a huge ult from Scene, the Death Blossom, but it really didn't need to be used as Karma is going to take up this victory. Excellent full hold from them, and a pretty good attack overall.
Cryogenics been the top performer so far in these maps. He's such a dominant player on this Moira. He doesn't care what hero you're playing. He will farm you with his Moira. He's been playing such an aggressive playstyle on this Moira, as you can see. Getting these very powerful coalescences, very powerful orbs, really not getting shut down at all for majority of the fights that he's in.
Well said. And really, he can't say too much more. He's got those 4 gold medals. He's got to be asking himself, team, what can I do more? And as you said, following up on what you said, yeah, Cryogenics definitely being a silent carry, if you will, on support. Getting those crucial picks with that Moira Coalescence, showing similar to Mercy's pistol that it does do a surprising amount of damage.
Absolutely. Going into this map 4, unfortunately, it is a loss. They can still get the map win and get some map advantage, which would be very beneficial for the late game of the season.
So Route 66 will be our last map of the night. Karma, as we've said, up 3-0 on the Pacified Pythons. Overall, some pretty well-fought bouts from both sides, I think. Pacified Pythons showing some overall pretty good defenses. I think where they've struggled most is their attacks. But their defenses have overall been pretty solid. Things get a little bit hectic, and when the dust settles, it seems to be going in favor of the Pacified Pythons. For a majority of the fights, that being said, Karma is still the one up 3-0 tonight. So they have been able to get those one crucial fight victories, and that's really just been enough for them.
Definitely. Looking into this map 4, Route 66 is another map. And I definitely think that in this map, they're going to see a lot more Bastion, and I think a lot more Widowmaker. And Land coming back in here, it seems, for Scene rather. So we're going to have once again the Splinter Land DPS duo. Hopefully we're going to be seeing some more of that Land Widowmaker that we all know and love. Hopefully more of that incredible tank synergy, and personally my hopeful, looking at the player that I've been enjoying watching, Cryogenics, I'm hoping we get to play hard again.
And Big Earl's, a notorious spot for Bastion to set up on first point defenses for Route 66. You don't see it as much second point, and because of that, I wonder if either team, whether that be Pacified Pythons or Karma, pulling it out. When you consider that you only want it for first point. If not, you usually swap off and you lose that ult economy of that character. I'll be interested to see if either team decides to pull out that Bastion.
Looking into this last map, I definitely have high hopes here for the Pacified Pythons. A team that has nothing to lose is the scariest team to go up against, and unfortunately, while Pacified have lost this, they still have a very solid chance of taking a map from Karma. Potentially for any more of for postseason games, Karma could be able to get knocked out of those potentials if they lose this map. Here,
Every map matters, and that's an important thing to think about going forward. Karma has dropped the map 4 before. They were up 3-0 on Comets, I believe 3 weeks ago, and ended up giving up that map 4. I wouldn't be surprised again to see it tonight. It really depends on whether or not the Pacified Pythons really want to take that. For the Pacified Pythons, though, when you think about their map differential, and it's bit of a rough start for them. Starting out what is now going to be 0-6 on the season. Playoff chances are looking bleak. That's not to say they're completely out of question. I think what's most important for them is making sure they keep that solid roster moving forward. And if they can keep that, and maybe getting this victory here on Route 66 will be enough to plant that seed of the great Pacified Pythons turnaround 2019.
Once again, going into the map, Route 66 being one of the more open escort maps up for the first 2 points, and while point C is a very closed off map, there's still very good room for heroes like Pharah and Doomfist, who are usually more versatile and more powerful in those open areas, to be able to get some incredible damage output. I'm definitely expecting to see some form of Pharah Mercy from one of the two here, and or a Bastion composition similar.
I wouldn't be surprised for Karma on their attack to pull out the Pharmacy. They've ran it to great success up until this point. I really don't see a reason for them to not run it again. As we get a first look at these kind of compositions here, you've got Blood on the Widowmaker, and I think that's a bit of an interesting choice in this double barrier meta. It's really going to be reliant on Blood getting those really wide flanks, getting behind the team, getting behind Karma, to be able to get those picks because of the Stanky Pants on the Sigma. He can just throw out that barrier wherever he pleases, throw it right in the face of Blood, and pretty much deny any value from Blood.
Right. Now, it looks like we're going to be seeing some very interesting choices here. A May Hanzo comp coming out from Karma, while we see a Widow Reaper comp coming out from Pacified Python. This is going to be very interesting. Two close-range burst DPS heroes and two long-range insta-kill DPS heroes. Which is going to prevail in this composition?
So Karma going to be setting up on Big Earls, start doing that initial poke damage. All going to come out from Splinter, but it's just going to be destroyed by the payload. So Cart continues to move forward as both teams kind of pick against each other. Huge jump shot from Widowmaker there, but it's not going to find too much of anything in terms of the kill. And payload continues to move as Karma not really wanting to contest that payload just yet. Splinter going to give TLR the free high ground, but Cryogenics going to find a pick.
Tequan getting a large sonic boom out there, forcing most of the team of Karma to get down to that low ground and play on the same level as Pacified Pythons. And they get the pick on Cryogenics there. That is big. They're going to get a lot of pre-push here, no contests about it, and they're pretty much going to get this first point immediately.
And Blood finds the pick onto Land, showing that, hey, you may not be playing Widow, but I am, and I can get those picks. So progress on the payload continues to move forward here. It looks like that's going to be a first point in favor of Pacified Pythons. Pacified Pythons looking a lot better here on Route 66.
And I think this is definitely, like I said, this point of nothing to going all out and going for the risky strats. Bloody here on this Widowmaker, really just kind of showing off that he's really uncontested here. Land, unfortunately, I don't know if he's much of a Hanzo prodigy as he is a Widow prodigy, but it looks like he's getting out-psyched in these duels.
Oh, no.
I stand corrected.
Blood caught with his pants down. Caught with his pants down there as Land gets the easy headshot into the back of Blood's head. And not before he commits to that Widow ult, so they're just going to lose any value they would have had from it. So Karma's setting up on that high ground, doing a lot of damage. Jungle Veins trying to go for a bit of a flank on Reaper, and he's going to be knocked down by Splinter on the May. Splinter going for that freeze on TLR. He's going to get the freeze, but an excellent barrier by Cryogenics to prevent May from getting that easy headshot onto TLR. So again, Pacified Pythons just kind of sitting on point, doing what they can, not really finding any picks, but not necessarily dying either.
Now, look at Tequan again. He's going for these knockbacks. He gets young. Once again, he has been doing this the entire game without much contest again. If he puts now, what would be smart here if Tequan did not use sound barrier? This is good. He has some ultimate control, but however, he is now being staggered. This is bad. As they're moving, oh there.
And there it goes. Land making that swap off of Hanzo onto the Widowmaker and immediately providing value, getting 3 final blows in that match, including that fight, including 2 headshots.
Like I said, Tequan is going for these risky Reddit Lucio style plays, going for these flank boosts to knock them off the high ground. While these are strong, he is losing he is leading his team without a crucial AoE healing factor. And this has been shown to be negative. Every time he's done this so far, except for the first push, his whole team has died.
Snake Man's throwing out the Gravitic Flux. He's not gonna find any kills. Jungle Van's gonna throw out the Death Bomb. So he is gonna get Guava. Land's gonna find the Widow pick onto Blood. And looks like TLR's got the pick advantage right now. Let's see if they can keep the momentum going. But Land taking out both DPS now. He gets the headshot on the Jungle Vans. Tequin on the high ground, trying to give a little bit of pressure to the Widow, but Land's gonna wisely back out, kind of reset in this fight.
Yeah.
The Matrix gonna be committed by Karma. Blood on the high ground, trying to take that Widow 1v1. Splinter gonna find the kill on that Widow, and Guava gonna finish off Blood. And it looks like, despite their best efforts, Pacified Python's gonna have to go back to spawn and reset.
Do you know what I noticed about that fight that I don't think many other when they were that small, that's when they were in the old spawn of Karma. While his Orisa was trying to back up with the, she was fortified, backing up, and while it was a smart idea, like on paper, on practice it was horrible. Unfortunately, TLR was not getting healed by Tequin as he was on the speed boost.
So, Pacified Python's getting ready for their next engagement, getting through that poke phase, trying to get their way back to cart, keep that forward progress going.
Looks like the
Splinter gonna commit the Blizzard, and looks like it's at a minimum gonna get Gen. He's gonna be taking a lot of damage, and he is going to fall. Land again, taking out Blood on the Widow.
This, unfortunately speaking, the DPS have just been outvalued every single time. I hate to say it, but I feel as though unless these DPS can step up their game a little bit more, this is going to be a lost match.
Oh my, Land showing no remorse, just headshot, headshot, final blow, headshot. Really shutting down the Pacified Pythons. And you know, Pacified Pythons, they ran that Widow on first point, Land was on the Hanzo, and I would say in a lot of ways, Karma just wasn't prepared for that, and Blood got a lot of value. However, since Land switched on to Widowmaker, it's been nothing but the Karma show for all of second point now.
Absolutely.
So Bongo's going to be committed by Karma.
Looks like they're trying to go up this high ground right behind them, trying to contest. They forced the Tranquility out, and interesting enough, that it didn't get Bloody in that. Bloody is still lowering HP on that sound barrier. Sequin trying to go with this aggressive play on this. If they can get the pick on, he gets it.
Yeah, picks falling in favor of Pacified Pythons. That Bongo proving to be a lot of value. They're going to be able to wipe out this fight. The only person left is Land on that high ground. And it looks like he's finally going to be taken down.
He may be insane, but he cannot 1v6 unfortunately. I have to say though, Tequin on this Lucio, very aggressive playstyle. However, helps his team out when he needs to, getting a very crucial sound barrier that got all other 5 players, including himself. And look at that, getting another boost to prevent that May from contesting here. I don't think she'll be able to make it. He tries to go for it again. Unfortunately, the Orisa Fortified does come out preventing it. And it looks like that, even so, they're going to win this fight. They unfortunately had to dedicate the Death Boss in there. And Land is just getting these headshots still, trying to farm another infra site before the next push starts happening.
So Land doing everything he can within his power, but those 2 picks were just too little, too late. As Pacified Pythons are going to take the second point, continue to take their forward progress. Blood making the interesting choice to swap over to the Ashe as opposed to the Widow, try to do a little more damage to those tanks, get that Bob up, and provide a lot of value through that. As he wasn't getting those picks onto Land on the Widow.
No.
He just kept losing that 1v1.
Here's what's gonna happen this next fight. Splinter's gonna throw out the Blizzard. Right?
Very like clockwork. You know your stuff. Cryogenics gonna get 2 with the orb. And it looks like Pacified Python stealthily and quickly retreating, trying to get back to that safe ground, or safe, but not before TLR gets picked off. And it looks like they're just a little too slow, and Karma's gonna wipe them out. Sorry, go ahead.
The unfortunate about Pacified Python's here is Gen continues to use his kinetic grabs way too early in these fights. He's not getting the absolute upward value and not pressuring that May into backing up so they can get more space. They potentially could have gotten the Coalescence out and protected his team from death as long as he got that a good kinetic grasp there. Unfortunately, he used it too early. The Blizzard was able to go in without any risk of even getting absorbed. And now they're going to have the Coalescence from Cryogenics this fight to get the win condition and the Gravitic Flux from staying. This is going to be a win condition for
comes out.
Even with Widow down here, this is going to be a win condition stacked for Karma. I do not believe, unfortunately speaking, I don't think, even with as many opens they do have coming up, I think that this will be a win condition for Karma as long as they can just keep the tanks alive.
So over time now clicking, Land gonna find the pick onto Jungle Veins. The Transcendence and the Beat gonna be coming out one from each side. Bongo gonna be thrown by Yang Chen. Land finding another kill. However, Jen's gonna answer by killing Yang Chen. Blizzard gonna again come out from Splinter. Land gonna find Jen. And it looks like things are starting to descend into a little madness, but it looks like it's falling in favor of Karma. They're finally gonna be able to hold Pacified Pythons here about 2/3 of the way through second point.
I had to say that, like I said, those tank survivability was absolutely crucial for Karma to win this pull. The hold here. Cryogenics is such a very powerful Moira on this role, and Guava's Transcendence during the Gravitic Flux help them keep those tanks alive to get the Gravitic Flux, to get the Supercharger, and help them full hold here. I have to say, the unsung heroes for Karma right now, not including Land, have to be these supports. This duo has been consistently keeping their team alive for ungodly amount of times in fights where they should have been dead to begin with.
Very well said. For me personally, though, I think it's hard to show that, at least on the kill feed, there's no one fighting more value, especially on Route 66 than Land. His Widow play, exceptional, quite possibly one of the best in the Harmony tier, if not the best. I don't know if the results were in his favor on the Widow 1v1 tournament, but that's nothing to say that he can't show up consistently week to week in game.
Absolutely, and coming out here on this Bastion, I do have to say though, both supports, the two support duos on both sides here are incredibly powerful. T-Quinn may not be the strongest Lucio in the world. However, his boots, his aggressive playstyle, and his sound barriers have all been strong in helping his team stay alive and helping them actually cap that point B with a very well-timed sound barrier. And I have to say, if they won this game, which unfortunately he would have been player of the match for me, just because of how well he's been playing this Lucio.
Certainly showing the amount of utility that Lucio can provide by dislodging enemies. So as we get a look at these comps here, Karma going to be using the Pharmacy again with Land on the Bastion. Interesting choice here. A lot of damage that can be thrown out, whereas Pacified Pythons are running the same composition they ran last on their attack. So Land just raining bolts from the payload through the safety of that barrier. So it looks like Payload's going to continue to move forward here. Both teams kind of poking each other, trying to pressure those shields. But Land going to find the pick onto TLR with no mercy on the side of Pacified Pythons. He's not going to be able to res. So Pacified Pythons are going to have to retreat here. Land continuing to shoot, and because they're not backing up, he's just raining so much damage in. And now Pacified Pythons are stuck inside Big Earls. Yang Chen going to find the kill on that Weirdo. Payload continuing to move forward here. And two members of Pacified Pythons are kind of stuck behind them now. And these staggers could be dangerously late here. Jin kind of trying to run his way to point here, but he's eventually going to be taken down.
It's unfortunate to say, the Widowmaker pick was kind of a poor choice in like the consistency of luck on the side of... The double shield makes it incredibly impossible for Widow to even get much value here. And it looks like we're going to be seeing a switch here. Jen going onto the D.Va, a very interesting switch here. Going to try and use the Defense Matrix to try and soak up a lot of that damage coming from Pharah, Bastion, and Sigma. Will it work out for them?
You know, with D.Va's newer defense matrix, the slower, amount of time, or the less amount of time that he can defense matrix, it's really going to be crucial that he manages that appropriately, because there's just so much damage on the side of Karma, both with the Pharah and the Bastion. So it looks like he's going to try and pressure that Pharah, but she's just going to quickly back up. Blood trying to get some shots onto Splinter, but he's not going to find too much.
However, and it looks like Splinter's going to try and get revenge here.
So Jungle's going to jump on the point, do a lot of damage to Bastion. TLR is going to finish him off. Jungle's going to be taken down immediately. Blood going to find the kill onto Guava with a headshot. Cryogenics going to use his Valk and res the Bastion. Bastion going to finish out that Weirdo. And it looks like, despite all the ults committed, it looks like it's going to be falling in favor of Karma here.
Definitely should have had to switch off that Widowmaker after that point A dominance. They're sticking to the Widow here. I'm still confused by this pick. They may be trying to counter that Pharah, but there are much better options in this situation. A Korean soldier do higher burst damage potential and are able to actually stay alive a little bit more and are a little bit more mobile against that Pharah. But unfortunately, they're going to be staying to this Widowmaker. I believe they're going to try and keep it working out. Maybe get a couple picks to try and force Splinter off that Pharah in this point C. However, they only have to move it 55 meters, not the full 80, only 55. This is a very winnable opportunity here for Pacified Pythons as they switch to a 3 now. This is a winnable situation for them. They can hold this as long as they play their cards right.
Karma has just been cruising and bruising. They've got 4 ultimates for this next fight, almost 5. Looks like Splinter on and Cryogenics in the pharmacy are going to be flanking around the backside, looking for an opportunity to use that barrage.
They don't see him. No one sees them.
No one sees them. And here they come. They're going to get blood.
Only one kill.
That's going to get 1.
But it doesn't look like it matters. Unfortunately, they were able to get it. The rest of the team was able to move back towards the main of the points and get those picks and win that fight. Like I said, they just have to play their cards right. Unfortunately for Splinter, he got a little bit too patient there for his own britches. He stayed there for too long. It took too long to go through, and he took it to the Hanzo, understanding that he stayed too long in that background before he did ultimate. I believe if he was just a little bit faster on the draw there, he actually could have gotten at least 2 to 3 more kills there in one of his fights.
That was a bit of a premature barrage there. You only really be able to find 1 kill. The rest of the Pacified Pythons moving too forward. Stanky Pants going to throw out that Gravitic Flux, but the B is going to be thrown out by T-Quinn. However, Lan going to find the matching bashing kill. And the Banco going to be committed by Yangchin, and it looks like the kills are slowly falling in favor of Karma. Yeah, and this looks like it's going to be it. With just that weird left on point, he's doing what he can to stall, but he's eventually going to fall.
Karma was on the good juju was on the side of Karma today, as they completely cut the head off of the Pacified Pythons today in a very dominant 4-0 fashion.
Karma is showing that the Pacified Pythons, despite their name, are not a venomous snake here, taking that 4-0 victory tonight.
Definitely saying that these DPS were kind of these like the playmakers, but the overall MVP, for my personal player of the match here, I have to say is Cryogenics. Every map he's been in and dominating his playstyle. He has been just absolutely on top of his game here on his Moira, on his Mercy, on every hero he's played today, and is a very phenomenal support player that we should be looking out for in future. Definitely the playmaker, and I have to say, I'm honestly honored to be in his presence at this point.
Very well said. Cryogenics definitely proving he's, without a doubt, one of the most consistent players on Karma, providing so much value on that support line. However, for me personally, I don't know. I've almost got to give it in favor of Landviter on that Widowmaker in particular, just shutting down fights before they could even start by getting those entry picks, consistently proving he's definitely one of the best Widowmakers in that Harmony tier. Overall, though, excellent play all around from Karma. Pacified Pythons honestly didn't look as bad as you would expect in this 4-0. Definitely showing a lot of promise, considering that their team that was put together so recently.
Definitely. They did get 4-0'd. They definitely showed a lot of promise and potential for this new roster. With Jungle and Bloody are very exceptional performers, and the return of T-Quinn to this team with his incredibly high-skilled Lucio gameplay can definitely show some high performance later in their matches, and I'm definitely excited to see what they can do with it.
As we look ahead for both teams, next week Pacified Pythons will be taking on the Holy Jalapenos, and Karma will be taking on the Minty Hippos. I think both teams is going to be a relatively tough match compared to their skills. Really excited to see what both teams can do going forward. Karma moving up to 4th in the division now, and unfortunately for Pacified Pythons, they sit at the bottom of the standings in the Harmony tier.
A definite shame. However, there's only room to improve. While unfortunately they are now 0, definitely for the. I'm breaking up again. And it seems like I'm breaking up way too often here. But it does seem that there's no direction but up for the Pacified Pythons here, and they are going to win this. They are going to have no room but to improve, and I'm very excited to see how they shine brighter than before.
Very well said. And with that, we'll be wrapping it up. So, with a score line of 4-0, Karma takes over the victory over the Pacified Pythons to improve to 4-2 on the season. In this tournament, Tune in tomorrow, September 9th at 8:30 p.m. for another edition of the Iris Podcast. Until then, I've been Cool Sam alongside Juice. We hope you've enjoyed tonight's game, and we hope to see you soon.
And
bye!
Don't forget to follow OW_Juice, because apparently I'm on a lot of plugs.